Ok. A priori, rebonjour, rebonsoir à toutes et à tous. Vous devez, c'est ça, on est bien en live. Vous m'entendez à nouveau, vous me revoyez. Hop là. J'espère que tout le monde a eu le temps de regarder la vidéo en entier. Il se peut qu'on ait rogné 2 minutes pour les retardataires. C'est pas grave, bien sûr, tout ça sera disponible ensuite. Vous avez en tout cas entendu et vu l'essentiel. On a donc avec nous Peter Merholz qui est présent et qui va bien sûr répondre à vos questions. Vous avez joué le jeu d'ailleurs, des questions, je le vois. Vous avez posé pas mal de questions que moi j'adore et a priori que Peter adore aussi. Vous avez voté aussi pour les questions qui vous semblaient les plus intéressantes. Super. We have the question by popularity. That's good. And ce que je vous propose, si c'est OK pour tout le monde, yes. Thank you, Peter, to be here tonight and for the video you have recorded, for being there. And you have the same shirt. That's not a coincidence. It's on purpose. and we are very glad to receive you online, as we may say. Thank you for this first online edition of the UX Days. The first time we do that. And thanks for the internet to be functional today. Everybody is online. No. The Wi-Fi is working great, it seems. So I will just begin with the first question and let you answer. If I choose, there is 2 questions that are quite the same about the the good team health, and they concentrate the most votes. So the health of the team is a good thing. Is something that is very concerned by the attendees. So there are Jenny who asked how you measure team health, and also. Axel Roquin asked another question that is related to the first one. What are your recommendations for maintaining good team health when working 100% remotely in this particular in this current epidemic situation?
Yeah. So first off, thank you. Thank Flupa and everyone involved with UX Days for letting me be part of this. It's been a while. It's been a long time coming. I was supposed to be in Paris last June, but we're making do. I hope to be in Paris next June. Maybe that's something we can all aim for. So with respect to these questions about team health, I tend to think about team health. There's 2 ways that I typically measure it. One that Gianni refers to as some form of an internal survey. I actually just did this for a team that I'm currently supporting that brought on a new VP of design. We decided we wanted to benchmark team health. So we asked the team a series of questions. Let me see if I can even find it while I'm talking. But we essentially asked the team a series of questions to get at how they're feeling about how things are going for the team. So a lot of companies have what's called a pulse survey. It's an employee engagement survey. And so we did one specific for design. So I'm going to read off the questions that I asked. I have the tools and resources I need to do my work well. I have the time and focus I need to do my work well. I feel good about the work I ship here. The work I do has a positive impact on our users. I understand expectations of quality for design work. I understand and feel supported in how I can grow in my practice and career. I understand what design stands for, our purpose, the values of our team. Design contributes throughout the product development process, from strategy and requirements gathering through production and delivery. I feel that management and leadership see me and respect me as a person, not just a resource to get stuff done. And I encourage friends and peers to work in the design team. So we asked those 10 questions, and you could respond on a range from strongly agree, neutral, disagree, strongly disagree for each of those questions. And so the idea with that was to, we asked these questions less than a month after the new VP of design joined, so that we could set a baseline and understand how we're doing on resources, on impact, on process, those types of things. And then the idea is we would ask those questions again, either every quarter or every 6 months. And hopefully we're getting more and more people agreeing, right? Because each of those questions is framed so that strongly agree is positive. And so so that's one way of doing it, is asking questions and making sure you're doing it every few months to every 6 months, and hoping that things are getting better. Now, that's only going to get a self-reported view of team health. And another view of team health that's important is attrition. Are people leaving the team? If people are leaving the team, that suggests the team isn't healthy. Now, it might suggest the company's not healthy. There's a lot of reasons people leave, but it can be an indicator of a lack of team health if people are leaving the team. And so something else you want to watch out for is departures. And if you've got a lot of people leaving, one, hopefully you're doing exit interviews with them. And when you do those exit interviews, hopefully you're understanding the role that your team health is having on their on the reasons why they're leaving. So those are the two ways that I typically measure it. Axel asks then about team health around working 100% remotely. And this is a real challenge. This is a legitimate challenge. And I can't say that I've figured it out by any stretch. But something I have seen, so the team I'm supporting has been remote since I've joined, is hiring totally remotely. And one of the things I'm seeing that's working really well for creating team cohesion and improving morale is having weekly meetings that are not about work. So they do they'll do quizzes, they'll do crafts together, maybe they'll bake together, whatever it is. They set up an hour a week, or maybe an hour every 2 weeks, to be together as a team, but not to work, but just to be people with each other. And it seems to be working really well. When we recently did a charter building exercise, so I talk about team charters in the talk, and I led the team through a charter building exercise. And one of the things that the team loves and wants to preserve are what they're calling team events or team happy hours. And it's working really well for these folks to be with each other, but no expectation that they're talking about design. Now, you don't want to do that all the time, but an hour a week is not unreasonable to just have folks basically hang out. And it seems to be doing a good job of helping them see one another as people and not just as colleagues. And so that's one top recommendation for maintaining good team health. The other that I would encourage anyone is to go through a charter building process. In the chat, I placed a link to a blog post I wrote that had an agenda for building a charter, basically leading a team through building a charter, and links to Miro boards so you could do the remote collaboration. And I think simply going through that process it doesn't solve team health on its own, but it gives you a step in that direction because you're now surfacing the things that matter to the team. And it gives you an idea of what to focus on moving forward.
Thank you. By the way, of the team, and how do you create those? Let me find back the question. How do you co-build the rituals and norms of a design team? Maybe those happy hour, non-professional hour may help to better understand each other's. How do you build this? I like the word rituals, things that people have integrated in themselves and can share almost spontaneously with others.
Right. So that's actually a big part of the charter sessions that I lead. We talk about norms, so norms within a design team, and then external norms. How do designers and the design team work with other functions? And so it's somewhat addressed in that blog post. So I would encourage going through an exercise like that and surfacing what are the rituals and norms that the team. I basically have 3 questions. What should we keep doing? So in this case, are there current rituals and norms that work that we want to maintain, like a happy hour? But then also, what should we stop doing? Are there things we're currently doing, certain kinds of meetings or certain behavior with one another that we need to cut out? And then what should we start doing? Are there things that we're not doing? So maybe you're a team that's not doing happy hours, and through this process you realize let's have a happy hour, let's bake together, let's whatever it is. I would just encourage asking the team to do it. Vincent's question also has to fit with each designer, and that as you get to be a team of a certain size, it's going to be hard or difficult to have something that works for everyone equally well. And so you probably want to have a few different kinds of these rituals, let's say, that are more on the team health and team building side. When I say happy hour, that suggests drinking together. And there's a lot of people who aren't comfortable drinking, whether with colleagues or anybody, for any number of reasons, all that are good. And that's not to say that people who enjoy having a happy hour together shouldn't have it, but that should not be your only way of celebrating. This reminds me, back at Adaptive Path, we used to have what we called Friday tea time. So Friday at 4 o'clock, we would stop work. And it started actually with tea, but then we pretty quickly moved to booze because no one drank tea. But then it became clear that some people weren't comfortable with the social a social context at work that was so focused on alcohol. And it was around the time that we moved to a new office that had a really amazing stove. It was like this, cooking television show quality stove. And so we started making grilled cheese sandwiches, what you might call a croque monsieur, I mean, with or without ham. Right. And that ritual of making these sandwiches together. Sure, there was drinks, but it wasn't about drinks. It was about baking and hanging out, those types of things. That worked really well. So being cognizant that different people are going to want to build these rituals in different ways, and be mindful of having a few different ways for folks to interact.
Eating or drinking, you have to choose your team. So we speak about team, but when I've seen that there, someone asked, when you are alone as a designer, how don't you get a burnout? Do you need people like you around you to make things, but when you are alone, or maybe you are in a startup and you are the only one who deal with this issue, how do you deal with that?
That's tough. When I teach, I have a workshop about building a design organization, and in that workshop, when I start, when I say it's time to establish your design organization, I start with 2 designers, because I pretty much believe that designers should never be alone, should never work alone, should never be alone. This also gets at Byung's question: if you were to build a team from zero, what is the first thing that you do? The first thing that I do is hire 2 designers, not 1. But I want to recognize that this person is alone, and that's a real situation that happens in a lot of places. How don't you get burnt out? I think there's a few ways. One, you're going to need to protect your time, particularly if you're truly by yourself. That's going to be hard, because other people are going to keep asking you to do things for them, and if you're the only designer, that means you're the only person who can do certain things. But you need to find a way to protect your time. Whatever works for you. I basically try to work 35 to no more than 40 hours a week, and that's it, because then I get burned out. So protect your time. Be clear about those boundaries. Say, like, this is when I work and this is when I don't work. So just make that clear. When you're not working, truly don't work. Too often, particularly in this remote world where we're always online, we're always easy to access. Work can bleed into the other parts of your life. For yourself, you just have to make a clean break. That's how I've had it work. I don't check work email after 6 o'clock, 6 p.m., 1800 hours. Because in the past, when I've checked email in the evening, if something came up in that email something might come up in that email that might stress me out, because I can get stressed out by work. And then I won't sleep. And then I'm useless the next day. So I learned just to stop looking at email at 6 o'clock. I'd rather read email at 7 in the morning than at 7 in the evening. So have those clean breaks. Reach out to a community like this. There are a lot of designer communities out there. FLUPA seems to be one here for francophones. There's a group called Design X based out of Canada, but they're going worldwide. So find IXDA, whatever. Find a community of designers that you can connect with, and just learn from and be with. If you don't have anyone in your organization that you're able to turn to, one of the things that I've seen about designers is that they are they're happy to connect with others and happy to invite people into their communities.
It echoes from a question of Byung No. She asked how to build a team from zero. It seems that you have to put together 2 designers, and they can share things and or connect with others. If you are alone, yes, you have to connect, because you're as good as when you connect with other of your kind. I am the timekeeper, as we can say in English. Alors je dois faire attention à l'heure, and we have a lot of a question, a good one. Maybe for a last question. One of the first that have been asked from Morgan. What's the most surprising setup you witnessed when helping clients? Can be good or bad, but I prefer good. Let's finish tonight with something that the bad we can imagine enough it, but the thing you have witnessed that was surprising, that was hopeful, that was remarkable. I don't know, that you didn't expect, and or it could be weird, but it was okay, and the organization and everybody was happy to do like that.
Because when I saw Morgan's question, I immediately went to bad.
No. It's easy.
I've seen a lot of that. Usually when people bring me in, right, it's because there are problems. And so my first thought around this, though, is it's kind of related to the situation I was going to say that was unfortunate, but let me give it a positive, happy spin. And so the company I'm currently supporting is an enterprise software company. And I'm going to start with the bad and then get to the good. So the bad is, and it's pretty weird, there were 10 designers supporting well over 100 product managers and about 350 engineers. So the ratios were totally out of whack. I've never seen anything quite so, extreme from a ratios perspective. But the good is, the reason I was there was because they brought on a new leader who is deeply not a designer. This was before they brought on a design leader, a leader overseeing all of product and technology, who is deeply committed to design and user experience. And so the good thing was having this person who is essentially a C-suite team member, but who's relatively new, who has the authority to make drastic change. And what I'm seeing is this is a team now that is planning on more than doubling in size this year. This leader hired a head of product who doesn't want to hire any more product people because he has too many, and is instead giving his headcount to the design team because he recognized they needed more designers, not actually even designers, UX researchers. The head of product is the single strongest advocate for UX research in the company, right? So while the situation that I entered was weird in a bad way, there are signs because of this leadership support that are weird in a good way. Like I've never seen the kind of commitment from leaders to design and user research that this organization has. So I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I'm very glad that you speak about UX researcher because I am. And it was not meant to hear that, but if you say so, I'm very glad. So
something I want to add, if there is a way to share the questions and answers or the questions from that list with me, I can see if I can answer them offline and share that back with the conference. Like just create a Google Doc or something and I'll just write a bunch of answers. So if you can get that to me, I can answer them offline.
Yeah, I'm sure that people, the attendees will love your answers, and it will. I have to manage the frustration for tonight, but thank you very much for your thoughts and your proposition to answer later to those questions. Every question will be recorded, and we will deal with that this week. And I must end this first evening. I understand now why that's me who present, because nobody wants to endorse the frustration role, but I can do it. So merci à toutes et à tous d'avoir été là ce soir. On va essayer de bien commencer cette semaine, de finir à l'heure. Merci à Peter d'avoir été là, de nous avoir suivis cette année à nouveau, d'avoir basculé sur cette version en ligne. Thank you very much for being online, not with us in Paris. Voilà, donc voilà, merci pour cette première. Je sais que toute la semaine, il y a bien sûr des conférences, des ateliers pour ceux qui ont pu s'y inscrire. Vous avez aussi, on le disait tout à l'heure, pas mal de choses qui sont accessibles sur les stands virtuels à gauche. Vous avez aussi un espace networking pour une sorte de chat roulette à 2 participants, voilà, pour les plus téméraires. Des espaces thématiques, notamment avec les antennes et FLUPA. Le WhatsApp in your country, je vous le répète à nouveau, ça sera ça sera aussi accessible dans les stands virtuels. Hein, donc, c'est des interviews d'experts étrangers. Et puis, vous dire un changement de dernière minute dans le programme. On a eu un désistement pour la conférence de clôture. Donc, ça ne sera plus Hannah Nagel qui va présenter, mais on a réussi à changer ça. La team orateur a fait des miracles. Et donc, ça sera Tariq Krim, qui est un pionnier du web français, qui sera en keynote de clôture, entrepreneur en série. Hein, il a fait NetVibes et puis Jolly Cloud, par exemple. Ancien vice-président du Conseil national du numérique. Il a lancé Polite.one, une plateforme qui veut permettre aux utilisateurs de reprendre le contrôle de leur vie numérique. Tout un programme. Donc, c'est lui qu'on aura vendredi en clôture. Voilà pour l'information utile de ce soir. Les UX Days continuent demain, mercredi, à 9h en atelier. Et écoutez, merci la team d'avoir été à mes côtés pour ce soir. Et puis, merci les participants. Voilà, si vous avez des remarques, n'hésitez pas. Vous avez tous les emails nécessaires pour nous poser des questions. Soyez présents toute la semaine. Testez avec nous ce nouveau format. Et puis voilà, je vais clôturer cette première soirée. A priori, je regarde. Est-ce que vous avez des choses en particulier? Bon. 19h33, let's end this first day, this first evening. Thank you again, Peter. It was nice to talk to you. Thanks for your thoughts and your shares and your insights. Et je pense que pour arrêter, c'est stop broadcasting. Hein. Usually we say goodbye to people when we are on stage. Here, I just have to click on a button and everybody will disappear as I will do. Merci à toutes.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.